What would you do if you discovered your seemingly perfect life was a lie? For Linda Curry, the truth would come too late. This is the chilling story of a woman caught in a deadly web of deceit, betrayal, and ultimately, murder. Linda Curry was a woman full of life, warmth, and love. She believed she had found her soulmate in Paul Curry. Their life together appeared idyllic, but underneath the surface, dark secrets were brewing. Friends watched in concern as Linda's health deteriorated, but her heart remained tied to Paul. Little did she know the very person she loved would become her worst enemy. Friends noticed Linda's increasing struggles, weight loss, nausea, and fatigue. Despite her health problems, she was determined to stay loyal to Paul, believing in his care for her. Even in the face of danger, she couldn't bring herself to leave him. When Linda was found dead in their home one fateful night, the initial thought was a tragic accident. But the truth was far more sinister. During her autopsy, something shocking emerged. A puncture mark behind her ear suggested foul play, and toxicology reports revealed high levels of nicotine and Ambien in her system, levels that pointed to murder. The idea of someone deliberately poisoning her was terrifying, but all evidence seemed to lead back to Paul. While the investigation initially struggled to find solid evidence against Paul, he was still the prime suspect. He had access to Linda at all times, and his behavior was suspicious. After Linda's death, he even had the audacity to claim he would receive nearly $1 million from her estate, while also suggesting she might have left her wealth to her sister. Paul's lack of remorse was alarming. As authorities continued digging into his background, they found that everything about him was built on lies. He wasn't an engineer. He didn't even have a college degree. Yet he continued living a double life, moving to Las Vegas and becoming a used car salesman, and then a building inspector. Years went by without resolution, but a new team took over the cold case, reigniting the investigation into Linda's death. Sergeant Ivan Shah and Prosecutor Brahim Bayai were determined to find the truth. They meticulously examined old evidence, including witness interviews and toxicology reports. Eventually, they reached out to Dr. Neil Benowitz, a nicotine expert, who confirmed that Linda's nicotine levels were unprecedented and likely due to injection. This realization shifted the investigation's focus entirely onto Paul. The pieces of the puzzle were coming together. He had motive, means, and opportunity. In a clever maneuver, detectives convinced Paul to speak with them under the guise of a routine inquiry. It was here that he made the mistake of downplaying the evidence against him, revealing his arrogance and sense of invincibility. They confronted him about the inconsistencies in his story, and when the time came, they placed him under arrest for Linda's murder. Paul was charged with first-degree murder for financial gain. The trial would not only test the evidence but also the jurors' belief in the man standing before them. While Bayai painted a picture of a cold-blooded killer, the defense sought to undermine the case with theories of Linda's previous health issues. As the trial progressed, the evidence weighed heavily against Paul. With no solid explanation for the nicotine found in Linda's system and his own words playing against him, the jury deliberated for a day and a half before delivering their verdict. We find the defendant Paul Curry guilty of murder in the first degree. The relief washed over Linda's friends and family, who had fought so hard for justice. While the verdict provided some closure, it didn't answer the haunting question: why did Linda stay with Paul? She had every reason to doubt him, yet her heart led her to believe in a love that turned fatal. Linda's story is a tragic reminder of how love can blind us and how trust can become a weapon. Her friends still mourn her loss, but find solace in knowing that justice has finally been served. As we reflect on this case, we remember Linda Curry, a victim of betrayal, but also a symbol of the struggle for truth against the darkest of human intentions.